Comic Cocktail at Thoroughbred 20, getting tickets to see the Fantastic Four. 9:30 showing. Let's see.
Hey, all right, man. So you beat me to the punch. You got to see Fantastic Four before me. We're all waited with bated breath. How bad did you hate it?
Did you? Well, I'm sure there'll be a little video that I give you of me clipping myself right before. It was 9:30.
Okay.
Saturday morning.
All right.
I woke up and it was like as if it was like homework to me, right? Because that's what it was. And I was actually really upset about paying the. It was like, which one do I have to see? I was like, no, Dolby. That's like $20. I ain't seeing that. I'm not doing it. It was like, 9:30. Let's knock this out. I got stuff to do today. Let me see it at 9:30. But the benefit was there was nobody in the movie theater, which was really nice. So it was like 3 people in there. But you'll see my enthusiasm to see this movie at 9:30. So which makes what I'm about to tell you about it all the more true, I think. You should realize how, like, I definitely, above all the hubbub around it, and then the Pedro fatigue and all the weirdness with him, we could go over all that. Aside from all that stuff, and it just kind of discounted it before, and everybody's nitpicking or jostling it. So I went in with that mindset of just, okay. And I really tried to be really objective. And then for the first, 20 minutes of the film, I was like, okay, because obviously they're not going to do another origin story. It's going to be, we don't need that. They didn't do it with the Spider-Man, so just everybody knows it already.
Right.
Just jump forward. And after 20 minutes, I was like, okay. And then, because them just kind of showing it in because the whole style of the movie was a future retro style.
Right.
And so whoever the art director was, and I'm sure those people had a field day because everything, I'll tell you, looked beautiful. Okay. I was blown away. For this movie that I thought was going to be just maybe on...
Wait a minute. You said what now? You were what?
I was blown away.
Mickey finally loved a comic book movie.
I thought this movie was because after seeing Superman, I was so done with watching movies. I turned to Kat and I was like, this might be the last movie we see in the movie theater. And then I was like, well, you have to. I would never have gone to see this movie if I didn't have to see it and I was going to see it for the show. Because when I was supposed to see it for the show.
Right.
So I saw it. Hey, look, I have tickets. I could prove I saw it.
He's got tickets that proves that he saw it.
I said M12.
Wait a minute, we jumped right in without saying that we want everybody to like, subscribe, comment, share your opinions on everything we're saying.
Before we get into all this, you know what? Before we get into, we need to talk about all that.
Bam.
And then we should, let's get some drinks out here because we have
for
drinks
the
for the
I'm
show
parched.
today.
I'm literally parched.
We have our own Shara.
Oh, we got
Silver Surfer.
Yay! That looks
great.
just amazing.
I love it. And look what we got. This cosplay cat.
Silver Surfer. You can't beat
Cosplay
it.
cat. And then so we have
This is going to be a futuristic martini.
Okay.
I love it.
And then we have our Silver Surfer.
It's kind of hard to enunciate through the mask. Yes,
we always give you the tongue twisters. This is the point of this
Yeah.
last movie. You have a Wonder Woman Rita.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, the Kirby dots for the Power Cosmic.
Oh, the Power Cosmic.
Right on top
I
of
feel more powerful just looking at it.
a Silver Surfer snow cone
Silver Surfer snow cone.
and a retro teeny.
And a retro teeny for you gentlemen.
So this is rum and pineapple and coconut.
Pineapple, coconut juice.
And then a little bit of the house-made blackberry.
It's just like the islands, man.
And
I'm
so
horrible with
it's
Jamaican.
Surfer-esque, right? So we got the silver. Look at the silver. I love it.
Can you beat that with a bat? No, you
So
can't.
how was yours? And my retro teeny.
wonderful.
And
This is going to have vodka,
look at how beautiful
vermouth,
it is.
lemon twist.
Oh, the
For
Mr. Fantastic, the spiral.
And then we have fresh basil in that as well.
It's a lemon basil martini. Okay, so that's what you're saying? A lemon basil martini with 4 ingredients. So
Yep.
vodka or gin if you wanted, I guess, and then vermouth, and then
Yep.
the lemon juice, and then a basil. Okay, cool.
Awesome,
And then
awesome.
the twist is Mr. Fantastic.
This looks almost as beautiful as you do.
Oh, that man love his
I'm
wife.
sure if I drink a couple more of them, might catch up.
Oh, no. Well, y'all enjoy.
Thank
We
you,
will.
Cosplay
Thank you
Cat.
so much,
Of course.
CC.
let's-
All right, so
So now that we're drinked up, oh, you got yours.
Yeah,
good,
I got
good.
mine.
So, and then, so we're talking about, hey, listen, cockatoos. Like, follow, subscribe, share, comment below. Comment
Please.
below. And we finished the displays. Got one more going off the presses of the for the comic shops around town. That are the displays where you all can get your comic cocktail coins. We got a nice cocktail coin box back here. We've got all the limited edition coins that we're giving out for y'all, and we'll start calling them out in the next show after these movie reviews. The Superman to do and this Fantastic Four, and a lot of these will be already out and around. So probably by the next one we do, we'll start calling these out. So be on the lookout. But these will be at your anywhere around.
and what
town
are these? So you haven't even
Ice mallets to crush the ice and do your own cocktailing with, like us, right? With the Comic Cocktail engraved logo on them, and on the back side, like Mjolnir, Norse, god of myth. Whoever likes, follows, subscribes, and shares Comic Cocktail shall be worthy to lift Mjolnir and grab thyself a token of gratitude out of the. It's like a coaster box that we made for these.
That's awesome.
Locations, and so you have your
keep your
grab a
coins
coin.
right in there,
Your numbered
amongst other
coins, or
things.
We'll get it later.
We'll get it later.
Yeah, I needed one for maybe.
Now
a
you
bar
might
soon.
ask yourself, how is it Mickey and I can lift these up so easily? It's because we created Comic Cocktail, so we are worthy by default.
Oh, I like
but
that, right?
the average
'Cause
person,
I made 100 of these coins.
yeah, may not be able to lift the
Like, follow, subscribe, share, any
Yeah.
of them, and then grab yourself a coin when you
and
see
that's
them
how
around
that
town.
works. Well, cosplay cat.
These are tongue
This drink is
twisters, right?
scrumptious. Yes, it is. But
I just want this because
okay, that'll
these are
work.
good looking coins, though. I don't want to lose them.
Great looking coins. Even my straw is silver. It's a metallic straw.
Oh, those snow cones we tested them the other day. They were the real deal. They were delicious, right? I want to get into that's a real nice drink. And this future teeny, this retro teeny thing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! Because look to back on the track. You've seen the trailers, and the trailer it has this. And another reason why the Fantastic Four movie. I did not go in expecting anything after Marvel's been dead for ever.
I still defend Deadpool Wolverine, which I don't know why you didn't like that, but go ahead.
Well, that's a whole other topic for another day. Yeah, I already thought we went over some of the Deadpool Wolverine is, but it's been pretty bad. But this movie had, for the first time I've ever seen Fantastic Four live action or cartoon-wise almost too. Them really.
We'll unpack that statement in a second.
Yeah, but okay, maybe I'm giving it more significance because the last iterations of the movies were so cartoony, more than
Bad.
a cartoon. Yeah,
They were just bad.
Taco Bell commercials of themselves. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was really but this movie, even with the Pedro fatigue, Pedro Pascal played a really good Reed Richards.
Okay.
Vanessa Kirby was a really good Sue Storm. I'm just blanking on the names of the Ben Grimm guy and Johnny Storm, and both of them played their characters. I mean, I didn't look at those guys at first and go, "Oh yeah, I think these were the Fantastic Four." But the writing was so good, and the scenes that they gave him in and that allowed him to act was one of the best. It was the best component of because the whole movie is about family. It's all about family. Fantastic, Fast and Furious. Another FF movie about family. Another FF movie about family.
Gotta love it.
Fantastic Four is all about family.
Right, and Fast and
Furious.
Furious, yes.
Yeah. Vin Diesel is the thing in an alternate universe.
Do you realize in that one movie they were on the planet closest to the sun? The one that, what was his Rick, whatever his character was. Remember Riddick?
Yeah, Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah. Do you
What about
realize that the planet that was closest to the sun? Do you know what the name? What they named that planet?
that? Our Sun was it? I've
No,
never seen it.
in whatever universe that was they were existing. Crematoria.
Okay.
That to me is the equivalent of Superman lifting up the Kryptonite Island. That was so bad. And then the way, because apparently the sun rose every 5 minutes.
This is such a nerdy
I know,
thing.
it's so
But you're telling. Okay, we got to get on.
Wait a
top of
minute.
it.
He douses himself with a bottle of water and swings through the sun to get to the other side of the crevice in the mountain so he could. That was, I couldn't.
I'm unknowing of, other than the first movie,
Pitch Black.
and like the coolness of like just the one line of his character that he was like, I wasn't gonna see, daylight forever, so I got a surgeon to give me, and you were like, oh, it came in useful. That was like the crux of that whole movie.
Sure was.
And it was. I mean, I think they erased that in the later iteration. Like he's born with those eyes or some kind of crazy stuff, didn't they?
I don't know.
You watched the other ones? Didn't you? I've never seen
I
them.
tried to forget it as I was watching.
He was in
it.
Bloodshot and it destroyed it. Okay, we got to get back
All
on
right,
track.
go back to it.
Because Bloodshot's a cool comic.
You mean his deep voice wasn't enough to carry it through?
Bloodshot?
Yeah.
They call me Bloodshot. I don't know.
I
He was
can't
like
do it.
he had a wife beater on, and they wouldn't show him from the waist down because he's so out of
he
shape.
gotten out of shape.
It's like, and Bloodshot's like this ripped young nano blood cloned, Bloodshot. Anyway, it was like a billion people use the cover. It's so overprinted as like coffee, like it was like bar coasters. You know what I mean? There's just so many. You can find them in like quarter bins, but they'll probably pay you a quarter to take Bloodshot issues. We got to get back on.
All right, back to Fantastic Four. Sorry.
It was amazing.
What are we if we don't have our side conversations? I mean,
that's part of the joy.
What do we serve?
But we really listen. It's such a joy to have like a movie that was actually good, and I really feel like I want to talk about like the positivities of like a good and well-made movie. The fact that they set it in future retro, and because it's in a different Earth. It's like Earth 828 or something. It's a different Earth than what we're used to seeing in the common MCU and this modern cinematic MCU.
Gotcha.
So it's a different dimension. It's a different Earth, right? So by proxy of doing that, they could set it into like this really beautiful future retro tone, which was like just beautiful. All the colors matched. It was like never happened in real life, but like even in the build, even the people that were like lining up taking pictures of them, like the flash photographers and everything.
Yeah.
Of like everything was color but it did match beautiful. Like it was so good. It was so it looked so good. Like it didn't take you out of it, but you only maybe something like me would catch it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the art director, this is so amazing. Like you get to like paint like a complete. Like everything looks like in that world. You didn't have the clunkiness of cell phones, all kind of weird stuff. I thought that not only did that free them up from being, you get to see something new. It doesn't have to pertain in the normal, MCU. But what it did was it extrapolated them from us, the viewer, having to mentally deal with the burden of like, well, where are all the other superheroes in this situation?
Right.
They don't mention them. They're not in there. There's a couple like villains.
So it exists in the universe by itself.
They never mention it, but they don't say it. You don't see like a bunch of ads and like Spider-Man saved somebody or whatever. It's like it just doesn't exist perhaps in this universe, right? They kind of look like they're the only ones in this universe.
Okay.
But they don't mention anything.
That's an
else.
interesting.
But you want that because you don't want to there be guessing like, well, why isn't Spider-Man here? Why isn't whoever helping out? Why isn't all the other ones here?
Right.
It kind of felt like they were the only ones there. So it got to center you on them, tell like kind of like their good origin story.
Yeah.
And then did an amazing job of like giving each one of them, because it's hard doing a movie where you're like following one protagonist, but you got to do four and try to do four different like backgrounds. I thought they cut it up and did like gave you like heartfelt moments with each and every one of them.
And who was the director? Do you know who directed this?
I don't know off the top of my head. You got to go. We'll insert here.
Yeah,
This is the
we'll
director.
put it there.
This is the director, and that's my power cosmic. And which brings me to this. Not only they gave all the characters heart, and the 30 minutes my jaw was on the floor because one, I haven't seen a movie this good in years. And Kat and I have a history of going to the movie theater, about 10 or over a dozen movies now in the movie theater that have just sucked. They've just been absolutely god awful to trudge through. And now I'm sitting one and he called so Black Adam. Black Adam from behind. Thank you, Silver Surfers.
Yeah.
Shadowball. But I will get to that character too. And although I had like reservations of seeing the trailer. I was like, this is going to be just. Watched it and I was like, man, they treated everybody, acted like way they should, and like common people. They asked the things that happened in the movie. You would add like, well, here's the crux of it is like, not to ruin it for you, but like, you know, obviously they asked for Franklin Richard. They have to travel to Galactus, and then Galactus like scans Sue Storm when she's pregnant, and it's like, and first. The voice of Galactus, and again, this guy was awesome, and who they mocapped him or whatever. But and also the animators for the movie, like Galactus looked fucking fantastic. This movie was fucking fantastic.
You're really making me want to run and go see it after
because
I
I've
leave
never
here.
been a real big Fantastic Four fan.
Because
I always thought they were done poorly.
Right.
Now I really like John Byrne.
are you talking about the Fantastic Four
in
comic books or
concept?
the TV?
In concept, most
movies.
of the TVs and stuff suck. But like the comic book in nature, they're kind of just like not done. In my opinion, unless you get to like John Byrne's
run,
Ditko and Lee stuff, and then like Wade or Hickman.
Yeah.
Hickman was my favorite one. You know, he did some crazy stuff with it. But they had a lot of that in this movie. They had a lot of that in this movie. There was a lot of nods, and obviously they're going to put in a positive way, and not just like shoehorning it in.
Well, one of my things, and you and I have talked about this forever. I mean, well, even before Comic Cocktail was, these guys weren't idiots back in the 70s and 80s that were writing all this stuff. These were very brilliant, inventive, massive imagination people that tried to back up a lot of what they wrote with at least some science, especially John Byrne, some science theory here and there.
He has a tattoo of John Byrne on his back.
No, but John Byrne was my guy. I'm not going to lie. John
He
Byrne
does.
to me, okay, so as a musician, Prince, period, there is no debate.
It's a giant
As
tattoo
comic
of John
books,
Byrne,
it's John
and it's got a
Byrne.
tattoo of him, like writer, artist, and he's like writing, and he's got it's like a Shiva, and it's got like
Period.
a bunch of arms
Period.
coming out.
And I don't do tattoos, but I
anyway.
do that with John Byrne.
Right.
Yes, sir.
But this movie is with not only did the Fantastic Four and the family and everybody behave appropriately, I thought they wrote them into a way where the story was great. Like at no point did I go, that's kind of dumb or whatever. They did things that I was like, okay. And actually, I'm trying not to spoil the shit out of it for you, but like there's a moment where you're like, okay, well, yeah, go up and see this Galactus. They confirmed that like this Silver Surfer comes down, and it's the woman.
gladly take
and here's the
another.
thing about this. Oh man, you are dude, you're just Silver Surferist. I love it.
Silver Surferist.
This is my new name. It's our own special one, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shadowball, which we'll get into because up back here we have the. Thank you so much, Cosplay Cat.
Of course.
This is like the greatest outfit. Look at this. Look at this Silver Surfer. I'll have one. I'm gonna catch up because I've been talking too much.
Sometimes I feel like
Thank
a
you
third
so
wheel
much.
between Cosplay Cat and Mickey.
Well, you know.
As I should.
That's right.
As I should,
Right.
good sir.
Not a lot of
That's
space-
how it's
there's not a
supposed
lot
to
of
be. Yeah,
space between
exactly.
those
Yeah,
two wheels,
exactly.
you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
More like a giant unicycle
Yeah, yeah.
bat cycle.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it is what it is. Go ahead.
That's okay. Y'all can look and admire the cosplay from home. The Silver Surfer Requiem book I pulled out and an Earth X book are some of my favorite iterations and stories of like both of my favorite characters. Like even though I wasn't a big Fantastic Four fan, the Silver Surfer was one of my favorite characters. Galactus
He's a great character.
also is cool.
Awesome.
And then you know, when Alex Ross and them did the Earth X, and that actually ties into this, because you know how Franklin Richards is always inevitably tied to Galactus.
Yes.
Either they make him the factor, like he, in Earth X, where like he becomes the Galactus that, like, remember when Black Bolt, the Celestials are coming to the planet. In this iteration, see, they change up Galactus's function sometimes. Like, sometimes he's like, he comes to a planet because the planet has a Celestial baby growing inside it. He has to destroy the baby.
Oh,
and
so
eat
it's
the
not just the eating
yeah,
of
he's
the
doing
planet.
it on purpose. And,
Okay.
and you're right. And so that's what they kind of, and the Celestial babies are growing out or something, and then they needed Galactus at the end, and then
It
like,
happens.
and then
We're okay.
and then like I think like Black Bolt, like with his last breath, like calls for Galactus, calls a name, and then Galactus comes to like help fight the Celestials. Remember after like Tony Stark had like giant robo armor and fight, dude, that thing rocked. Or he's Galactus is like but he's on par with like the cosmic level of what am I thinking of? The you know, time and space and all the cosmic. Oh, okay. I'll polish that off if you want. You want me to? Here. Oh, you wanted some. Oh, you got some. That's what you wanted. Okay, yeah, we are Sharesons. Hey, Sharesies, Caresies. Maybe I'm imbued with the power cosmic now.
Yeah, I think you are.
So where was I? Oh yeah, because
the way they kind of expanded
Galactus is
Galactus'
you know, like
purpose.
Death as a persona and like golly, time and you know the Trinity head trio, like you know, he's a force that always needs a kind of like with how they always write him is like Galactus is a force that kind of needs to always exist in this universe. And Galen, he came into the you know, it's always a different version, but he kind of always stays with that. It was very much that they kind of left it kind of ambiguous, where like Galactus either needs Franklin Richards to like, is he going to eat him to like satisfy his hunger, or is he insinuating, I believe, to just like take his mantle as like because and they just don't understand
Galactus.
because that's what happens. It's like that's what he is the next. Franklin Richards becomes what the universe needs is the next Galactus.
Yeah,
that could be fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like all kinds of things they nod at, and then also too I didn't like at first I was like, oh man, here's another. I will eat my words about it. Another sex swapped character for no reason. Silver Surfer, played by the girl. I like the actress. She was great.
She's
Ozarks.
fantastic in Ozark. I'm not a fan of changing gender and races of characters.
No, but you'll let me explain in this scenario why it was really good.
Okay.
Because in a lot of movies where they try to force feed you like girl power and it's not real girl power, this movie had amazing real girl power. Sue Storm is mom, and it's not like I think people are complaining, it's like, oh, she's too powerful, or she's whatever. It's like, first off, this whole movie was about family. Invisible Woman's power is like a force field to protect things.
Yeah.
It's a motherly womb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like by the writing that's the incepted in the bedrock of the foundation of the character. So like, she very much is like the mother, like heroine of this planet, like wanting to protect this version of Earth, her Earth. And then she mothers the planet, not like she comes out and gives like she dissipates a problem that normal people's like, why don't you just give up your baby? Like you would have people in the streets going like, just give up your, which is kind of evil when you think about it. But it's like objectively you go like, well, it's one baby to say, but is it right to bow to the knees of a tyrant to give up a child?
Right.
And which is I kind of like, at first I was like, oh, it's not going to be the ultimate nullifier. No, they involve Franklin. But you know what? If they did this writing, making it Franklin Richards in this movie and the baby and the direct, like, Galactus is coming for Earth or the baby. And you had to make a choice. And by Pedro Pascal saying, no, not even the smartest man alive can crunch all the numbers. And he knows in his head that, like, he even mentions it in the movie, and she's like, how dare you, like, think about so he's like, I have to think about it. Like, it's their valid reason. It's like 6-7 billion people on the planet versus our one child. It's like, but I would never do it. But
he's got to think he's Reed Richards. There's no way he wouldn't.
The variables, and that's his plight, because and I thought they did a great job of him being such like a mathematician that he kind of is sporadic, but he was still there as a family. And it's the first time. First off. And I think we talked about this earlier. I was like, I think the real reason I like this movie is somebody might have watched The Incredibles, which is Brad Bird's version of the Fantastic Four, his version of an animated Fantastic Four, and that movie is amazing, and both of them are great. And we'll have an Incredibles talk sometime. But like that, somebody watched that and then was like, let's do
they
that.
Always should have,
Mickey. But it always should have been this.
I was in the theater with a good friend of mine watching The Incredibles. And I remember looking over and saying, about maybe 20 minutes into the movie, I was
fast.
That's very fast.
Look at that speed of this thing.
Look at that.
Silver Surfer.
Cocktails must come.
The parent of the Power Cosmic.
The herald of cocktails.
The herald of cocktails.
Gotta love it.
I like that. No,
Gotta love
might have to keep this character. Good job.
You might have to be
So-
doing it. Well, no, what I'm saying is that I looked over to a friend of mine about 20 minutes into The Incredibles and said, this is just really a good movie.
Oh, it was
and I was like, Fantastic Four is going to have to bring it. And of course they didn't. Although I do love Jessica Alba and I will defend her till the day I die.
Well,
But
she was
those
great in
weren't
Sin
good.
City, but the movie was written poorly, and the
Yeah.
casting was poor
And
for the movie
executed
and everything.
poorly.
It was really poor everything. But this movie made up for all the other failures of the other ones and everything. It really made you like the
Really?
Fantastic Four, made you feel like family, made you feel like they're kind of like each one of their heart and like whatever.
If I'm being honest with you, I never really vibed on the Fantastic Four until you were going to say his name again. John Byrne started writing it, and then I started checking it out because I was such a John Byrne fan. I loved his art and I loved his storytelling.
Well-
But it is good to see or hear, at least secondhand, that it was done the right way.
Oh yeah, and I thought that the fact that they were going to gender swap the Silver Surfer and make it
Which
the
I
Shana
wasn't
Ball,
a
which
fan
there is a
of.
version of Shana Ball, but like why not do a good Norrin Rad? But here's what I realized when they were doing it. It is a different world that I believe these Fantastic Four characters are going to be leaving and joining the normal MCU. We're going to
Okay.
be leaving this. So you're not going to see that Silver Surfer
Retro
anymore.
future or
No,
that Silver Surfer. Okay.
They might play around with it later, but what I'm saying is it gives the key to give that character. It's not part of the normal MCU, so we can still have our Norrin Rad in the normal MCU, right?
Right.
I can still have my Keanu Reeves.
Yes. He
Hashtag
wants that so
Keanu
bad.
Reeves for Silver Surfer. Keanu Reeves Silver Surfer. That needs to be a thing for the MCU. It'll save the MCU. Keanu Reeves Silver Surfer. Keanu Reeves Silver Surfer hashtag. Right there.
Whoa.
You know it's true. So you can have this girl, but this girl, I was like, oh, I just don't want to. And I'm a fan. I'm a heavy metal kid. I love robot. Obviously, with our cosplay cut, I love metallic robot women, space women. And even Johnny Storm says such in kind of the movie, and he's like, oh, space girl, hot girl in space, whatever. And here's the thing. This is why switching her was key for the ride. Very good move.
Okay.
You get to have a good girl sex swap version, and the reason for it being a girl made sense in the story.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody else picks this up though, because of all the other stuff that Reed Richards trying to do with the other stuff. Johnny Storm, who's not usually known to be using his head for things, he's like the hotshot pilot, But what else is Johnny Storm known for? So it's not
Ladies'
out of character.
Man.
Okay, great. So Reed keeps getting all these transmissions from outer space that he keeps recording, and this is very cool, on gold record discs, records,
Okay.
gold records,
LPs.
right? Yeah, exactly. And what I'm saying is if you know anything about the history of U.S. space and everything, which they do, I love the U.S. here and whatever, and it was an alternate reality of New York or Boston, which remind me of talking about the Boston cap that the Thing was wearing.
Okay.
They did a great job with that because the Thing was walking around with a blue cap and it had a Boston B instead of a red Boston.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Instead
Yes,
of a
yes.
Boston Red Sox hat,
Right. It was a Boston blue, whatever.
it was a Boston blue hat. So, and you never really told you, I think it was the assumption that they were in New York. But no, people had that kind of northeastern accent. So when if you were close, there was a bunch of other comic book Easter eggs, but I love that kind of notion because I don't think comic book people would get that. That was the writers telling you that we're in a skewed universe where it's not the Boston Red Sox or the blue New York Yankees.
Right.
It's like this, and it's them getting away with the copyrights
Right.
and everything and putting it in there.
Right.
And also telling you it's not that same universe. But back to why that also works is because they get away with the female Silver Surfer. They get to introduce her, and for a good reason, because she's integral to the storyline, because Johnny is good. Of all of Reed Richards doing all of his other stuff, it doesn't leave Johnny just jerking around doing nothing. Johnny's good with communicating with women. He's not so much he's not super smart. He's
But he knows how to talk to the ladies.
He knows how to talk to ladies, and you know what? And Richard and Reed Richards does. Thank you so much. And Reed Richards,
that
get that
for
power
me.
cosmic. Get a bunch of that Blackbird.
I
It's the
need
best
some.
stuff.
I need some power
The
cosmic.
snow cones are awesome. So
Yeehaw.
the
You're an angel of light and love.
The yeah, I want to not. No, okay, yeah, go ahead. I want to. What I'm saying is, it made Johnny useful in the background and him to solve problems because he wasn't. You were thinking it was like Johnny's not that smart, but what he's really working at is how to communicate with a hot space babe.
Yeah.
And because they collect all this data, and Reed can't put it together. He hasn't time for it. His head's on. He's got to create this thing and teleport the world and everything. Which they actually like. The metaphor is like he shows a demonstration where they teleport an egg. He's like, I can teleport an egg. Blah blah blah. The egg's a metaphor. What is egg for? It's life. It's a little baby.
Right.
And then later in the movie, they want to teleport the world away from where Galactus is coming, and they try to unite the world to like put up like teleportations and like it's gonna drain all the power, but if we like work together as a world, we can save it for like 37
We
seconds.
are the world.
Right, kind of like that. It got kind of like that, but you could understand where he's going with, and they had it ready until Silver Surfer comes in and like starts wrecking everything. In heralding Galactus is like starts messing with their plans. Like, oh shit! Now we only got like a few of these. It's not gonna work.
This is the only reason why I have a problem with female Silver Surfer is there's a very powerful Herald of Galactus that's a female named Nova.
I understand that.
You
and
see what I'm saying?
That would have been cool, but it would have been two Johnny Storms. It would have been two fire people.
That's true.
Yeah, think about the writing.
I got you.
Okay, so but what I liked about this girl is because Johnny, by making the Silver Surfer a girl, it gives Johnny the avenue to like kind
to
of
have some value outside.
Hit on a girl. He has a girl interest. Hits on the girl. It's not creepy. He tries to figure out how to communicate with an alien girl, and that actually is big part of how they fix this problem. Like it's not just like a side story. It's like by Johnny getting and communicating, because Johnny's good with communicating with women, he figures out how to communicate with an alien broad and gets to her heart and changes her heart to make the Silver Surfer change and work with them. It was great storytelling.
Okay, you can't tell me anymore now. That's fire.
It was very good.
I will give you that.
I was like, they did this extremely well. I don't know if a lot of people are picking this. I mean, that up, but like, I did love the golden. All the things are recorded on these, like, she's talking in her alien language on these golden discs that they're recording, and that was a nod to Carl Sagan. Remember when the Voyager, they launched the probe. But you remember what was on the probe?
There was like different types of music. A message from Carl Sagan.
Written on what?
The Earth's
wasn't it an LP?
Gold LPs. They survive. Gold LPs survive in space, right? And then remember all the music that was on those gold LPs. There was two LPs, or if I'm not mistaken, the figures of man and a woman, and then like our geometric coordinates or what spatial coordinates locating us to like where we are, like spatially with like the solar system in like a 5-point grid or something. It's like a map to show here's Earth, here are humans, and then recordings of like babies crying, the rainforest, dogs, human beings talking, and then a lot of music. And there's a bunch of Bach and classical whatever. You know who has the most time on that? You know who has the most?
Isn't it like somebody like Chuck Berry or something like that?
You know it.
It is Chuck Berry has more.
You know it. You know it. So I love
because so much comes from rock and roll.
I always I have always thought about this, to think about like if aliens, because the point of this is to send it out to intelligent life.
Yeah.
And by putting on a mechanical device is like hopefully it's anything that's kind of intelligent might be able to pick it up. And aliens in a spaceship working I've always heard of this in like that documentary like years ago on like on Nature on the Science Channel, and you're learning of them doing this or whatever you learn in school. I'm like, you mean to tell me like aliens are going to pick up a disc, put it on, amidst them saying, at one point they're going to be hearing Johnny Be Good and just crank into it and just being like, nah, 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 nah. You're like,
maybe. What if the frequencies don't? What if the frequencies?
Well, they'll know what to turn it to, and who knows if their ears can hear it. But I'm just saying, in concept, it's like, you mean to tell me they're just going to be jamming to like Johnny Be Good aliens? I just falling in love is that the representation of like Earth and whole. Anyway,
I do too.
But they put it on gold discs, and Johnny Storm figured out Johnny Be Good with the gold discs. Maybe there's something there. Figures out the music of the woman's voice and like backtracks it, and he communicates with the fucking alien. He actually figures out her fucking language.
That's deep.
Johnny literally figures out the alien language because she can speak English, but she's speaking her own language on these planets that the Galactus keeps eating. And everything's so good. We talked about and there's a
You got
there's
me
a,
really
there's a
wanting to
scene,
see this
There's a
movie.
scene where they're like also too where they're trying to get away from the Silver Surfer and they're hitting through like a.
I hate that this drink is virgin, but I know that I called
they-
it on myself the last time we did this.
Is that virgin? Or
It's
it
very
real?
virgin because I can taste these pineapple juice more this time.
It might be less. I don't think it's virgin, but
It's pretty
less.
virgin. She's looked at me through the. It's all good.
Through the cosmic.
Yeah, through the cosmic
I think of all the words that we bleep.
shroud.
I think of all the words that we bleep in this ever show.
Virgin would be the one.
I think virgin.
I
is the
think
word.
virgin's
And I think
got to
you
go. It's
and then
against the culture
but
of the
I want,
show.
But you don't cut this out. You don't edit it. Every time I want that black bar and go boop, like that. Okay, virgin's the word that you beep out.
Let me just tell you guys something. I produce a lot of TV because I teach it as well.
And this is why it's with me, 'cause
wanna
I got
say
the good
this.
ideas.
No, and listen, it is a
You're not
blessing.
acting like you were having virgin.
No. It is a blessing when you have talent. I always told Mickey he was talent because he would give me these. I don't think you guys understand. It would take like 5 hours, and he would only have 30 seconds, and he would tell me about why he didn't like a movie and what he would do to make it better. So, like for the first 2 hours, what he didn't like. And then for the next 2.5 hours, what he would have done different. But these are in 30-second blurs. You remember that Puerto Villa. We didn't have a whopping amount of time to talk.
There's two things I would change in this movie, and they are so minute.
Okay.
That and this is my first, even my first, the Shauna Ball, the female surfer,
Mm-hmm.
which she had a scene. She has hair, and I know in the comics she has hair too. In seeing the trailer, I was like, "Ooh, just make her bald." I want to see because she would have
Still
no
got to
full-
have Hollywood sex appeal.
Well, I kind of wanted the Robo sent and made him more alien. That's so nitpicky. It doesn't affect my thing. This is
Okay.
not a thing. This is
But
my-
it's just something
and
you
then
would
there-
look at and change.
And then there was one other thing I would have done, and I don't know if they could have gotten away with it because it was a PG-13 movie or not. But I figured there was blood in the movie. But there's a moment where like Sue Storm is like using her mom powers to fight Galactus, and she's giving it all she's got. And this is another testament to the movie. In every other iteration, you'd be like, this is just okay. She just out punches the thing, right? She out punches this. It's like, what's her motivation or what? This is bad writing. In this situation, of all the situations to call out, okay, she's got girl power, is when she's fighting for her fucking child being like captured by a 4,000 foot space god.
Yeah.
And she's like giving it all she's got, and like you can tell, like even Reed was like, you're gonna like you're hurting yourself, like, and she's like trying to hold Galactus in, and you know they all together work to do it, but it's her using a lot of her force field powers, and she dies in this movie.
What? Why are you telling me what? That's wow.
Calm down. So
Horrid.
Okay, but
Horrid.
the testament to this, I have to explain it. When she's doing it, I would have liked to seen like before that, like a little bit of blood.
I would have liked to have not known about that little nugget of truth.
It's not gonna affect it at all. Trust me. This movie is. Halfway through this movie, I'll tell you what. When they went up to see Galactus, and I was like, okay, here's the moment, and they flew up to see Galactus. Okay, there's a nod to the Alien movie.
I've got to have a shot of rum in this.
There was hit him up. Let's get it because this is a really good scene because I got to talk good about this. So
Here it is.
So we can do it. We can do it at the Cockatoo Lounge. So there's
We've
a
got
moment
to.
in this movie where they go up to see Galactus, and I literally have never said this before because I walked into this movie, and I was like, I can't believe I'm paying $15 to see this right now at 9:30 in the morning. And then, like, I guess it's in the first hour, they go up to try to resolve this with Galactus. And when they shoot off into space, I mean, the movie was great before then. But when they shoot off into space, when she comes down, I was like, well, then they go up to meet Galactus. I was like, I should have gotten IMAX or Dolby or
That good?
something. Yes, it was. they didn't. It wasn't. This movie was not a bunch of like, let's just rely on special effects and whatever.
Yeah, they had good story to
every
move the
time
story.
they did an action or anytime somebody did something, it was in character. It was what they're supposed to do. It was enough of what you needed to see. It was not or gratuitous, just like doing stuff for the
Right.
sake of doing stuff. And the scene with the silvers, like they go up to like, and the presence of Galactus, the sound editing, the score of this movie was beautiful. It was like appropriate. They made Galactus sound. The presence of him was like, you were like, oh,
He's Galactus. He was the heavy for
It
the long time in Marvel.
was appropriate and amazing. And you were like, he just spoke, and what he said was like, you know, he's saying things on a different level than they're understanding, you know. And but you're fighting for them. You're like, it's their baby, and he's like, but you know, if you've read the comics, he's saying some future stuff.
He's
But they don't even know, which makes it all the more. You're like, they are going to pull this. You know, they pull it off at the end, kind of. But like, you are engaged the entire way. The Superman movie was like a 2-hour vomit fest of like 15 minute little short stories. This was one clear, even though it
wasn't
had,
that bad.
even though it had 4 characters, and they concisely
One clear
wove
story.
one story centered around protecting Earth, and these are heroes. They didn't give up baby, and then they made it clear to the people that we're not going to give up Earth too. We're going to protect you. We're not going to let this tyrant.
Let me ask you this question.
We're not
Let me
gonna
ask
let
you
a
this
tyrant
question.
come and demand
Let me
it.
ask you this question. Galactus comes and says, "I have to take Mickey Masters." Would you sacrifice yourself, or you
Oh,
say,
myself,
Oh,
yeah.
screw that, America!
That
I'm
wasn't
American. yada,
no.
bada,
But but that wasn't the offer granted. Galactus wanted.
If he said he was going to take your boy,
He didn't even know. Okay,
You and
hold on,
Cosby Clatter
okay,
having
that's
the
a
boy.
different thing, and that's the heart of the
are
story.
you going to give up your boy?
We cannot get into.
Are you going to give up your boy?
No.
I'm not giving up my boy.
Well,
I'm not going to
Of
hold
course
your
not.
credit.
Of course not.
I'm not gonna
And
hold
that's of course not. But
that
of course
boy.
not. Rick, but of course not. And this is treading on to also to the Superman conversation. But like exactly what I loved antithetically about the other Superman movie and like the other Tyrant God, this father said to a god, I'm not sacrificing my child to you. And then also, you spit in your face your option of the world of my child. I'll be the hero and I'll save both of them. And then he didn't cower it out. They actually had an option to like just
What if he had failed though?
Reed Richards and them could
He'd
have,
be the biggest dick in the history of the world. He'd be worse than Hitler.
but he was actually. But you couldn't. Fault,
you'd have to admit.
But you couldn't fault him for fighting for his child.
So remember,
Right?
wait a minute.
We can't-
Wait,
this is
let
way
me
too
just
deep. This is
wait.
way too
I'm
deep.
going to go deep with. Remember in the Dark Knight when the big gang leader, the big brother Zeus,
The
was his. He had to when they were all on the boat and Joker was making Batman make that choice of who he was going to save, and the prisoner with the warden on the boat with him had to take the bomb away from him. Just basically to say, he was like, because I can fight off everybody here, and you made it seem like he was gonna
You're talking about
blow
the
up
movie.
the other
It was
boat.
like the fake Bane
Right.
in the Nolan verse. Right.
Right.
Okay.
And what he was showing him is that the humanity of this thing is we're not going to blow up a whole ferry full of innocent people,
Right,
and I'm willing
right.
to
It was-
die.
right,
but it
right,
took
right.
the criminal
Right.
to say that.
Right, but antithetically, there wasn't the situation for criminals. But I like the writing style of them putting Richard at the crux and the family at the crux of going, are you going to sacrifice your child? Which mathematically, he even says it in like conversation
better
with Richard.
sense to, yeah.
No, he doesn't. He's not presenting it as an option. He's just the way Richard is, and you watch this, like he's like. I am the smart. I know I'm calculating every variable, and they're like, that's their position. You know what I mean? And he goes, but we're never giving up our kid. So we're not abandoning this planet. So we're gonna fight. And so they go up to or that's after they came back. And I won't spoil how.
Don't anymore because
Okay,
you just
I won't-
really
I won't-
killed a big part of it.
Okay, well, in utter fashion, I'm watching Sue Storm give birth, and I'm like, of course, this is the best way the Fantastic Four gives birth. It was amazing. When they're trying to escape the Silver Surfer, there's a moment where they hit a warp, they're doing warp speed, and it's just little sciencey things where they throw in enough to where that's clever, that's good. Where they're trying to escape Galactus, Silver Surfer goes after them right when they hit warp, and they're and she's in the warp stream with them, and she's surfing the warp stream
Yeah.
with them.
Dopeness.
And so they start trying to So
I really shouldn't have agreed to do today.
Well,
'cause
you
you
should have
tell
seen
me
the
too
movie.
much stuff. I
You
should have
signed
seen
up for
the movie.
spoilers, and then you know what? Before the whole event, spoiler alert. This whole thing is spoiler alert. We don't do non-spoilers in this show. All right. This is the review. You should know what you signed up for. So, but there's a moment where like Johnny
He
Storm.
wasn't like that when he was
There's a
telling me to
moment
come
where
over and shoot this,
There's
by
a
the
moment
way.
where Johnny Storm is shooting and trying to shoot the Silver Surfer, and she's like, because of the nature of like warp, it's warping light, and the rays that they're shooting from the ship are bending around the warp speed, and it's dope as shit. She keeps coming back. She's got the awesome power, and then I thought it was the best way, because instead of Reed Richards using, and you know what I loved about him? Reed Richards wasn't like using his like stretchiness, because it was his secondary thing. He was always trying to use his mind.
Yeah, he's always used his mind in the comic
In
book.
fact, the stretchiness only like
Few times.
a few times in the movie, because he's like jokingly using it as he's around.
He's going to use
And
it more in
and then when he's piloting the ship, he's kind of like trying to use it, and you're like, that's appropriate. He's not showing off with it. And then he only like really uses it at the end when it's like all else has
No
failed.
job, Bob.
All else has failed, and he can't do anything else. So it's appropriate. And the nature of
We should have literally had this entire conversation like this.
You have to be the viewer. This is a spoiler alert. You have to suck it up now. And listen, I paid $15 to see this movie. I thought it was going to be garbage fest, but this was fucking amazing. It was fucking fantastic.
I don't think you understand how rare this is. I don't know how many more comic book movies we're going to discuss.
No, it's not going to be like this. It's because Galactus was appropriate. The weight of the animators animated Galactus. Amazing.
I was happy to see a real Galactus versus that cloud
the
bullshit
shit, but
that
not
they
the
did.
I'm not even talking about the fact that the choice of like design of like his look. I'm talking about the animation of the subtleties of like the weight distribution of him in the city. It sold
Physics,
it.
things of that nature.
Everything was so good.
Okay.
And the way he behaved, and the dude, most of what his action was like, his eyes like glowing up and down, and you were like, that's boss. Like everything he did with his eyes and everything, you're like, you got everything. And the fight for them all coming together to do all their little things.
But you know why they
defeat
had to introduce Galactus, right?
Do you know why they did? Is that what you're
Marvel's, yeah, because they're going to do Secret Wars.
Oh, well, that's already, of course. And what I was off of the Marvel train, like, just.
Are you back on the Marvel train
I will
now?
say this: this Fantastic Four movie was so good that I was like, this was one of the best Marvel movies they've ever made in their entire iteration. It was so solid. I thought to an iteration of Fantastic Four, left a good spoiler, like a kind of teaser ending. You had a great story of like you understood the people, and now you could just jump off and do the Fantastic Four, and I was blown away by how good it was, and I was like, I was just wanting.
Does anybody know how it's tracking financially? Is it
I
doing
don't
well?
know. I think a lot of people have. Well, what does that matter? These numbers are like crazy.
Well,
anyway.
and I'm gonna
they
tell you
blow
what,
up
I'm gonna
numbers,
tell
they
you.
lower numbers, and they go, "Oh, we're seeing, we're not seeing."
Wait a
it.
minute, Hall. I'm going to tell you. The reason is the difference between Brandon Routh's Superman and Henry Cavill's, or the new guy. Like Brandon Routh's
Cavill's?
Superman was not loved.
This retro teeny. Yeah.
She meant for you to get there today, brother. Cosplay Cat was not messing around with these drinks today.
18.
Wow. We have our own. That is a power
it say?
cosmic. Fantastic Four: First Steps had a strong opening weekend at the box office, earning $118 million domestically and $218 million worldwide. I'm gonna say, you're entitled to your opinion. If you don't like this movie, that's great. Talk about it. Don't hate on another person for not liking the movie. Just talk. You can not like the movie. You can love the movie. Talk about it. Give your reasons. If you just articulate your reasons why you don't like them or like them, you know. I thought, for the reasons I hated and I've articulated Superman, all the opposite. This movie had all the heart. The score was appropriate. No inappropriate laughter. Wait
a minute, there was inappropriate laughter in Superman?
No, like, I mean, not inappropriate laughter. I mean, like, jokes are comedic at wrong comedic timing. I was like, just everything in the Gunverse is like, there's no room for heart or emotion to grow in these scenes, and almost every scene was like there's scenes where they were just like around the house, and it was like, I love it. Please give me, like, I love the Fantastic Four around their like thing, because it was beautifully balanced.
But isn't that kind of the
by
history of the book as well?
It was great because that's why you like the fucking
Yeah.
X-Men. You want to see the X-Men go to the mall and live around their
Yeah,
mansion.
yeah.
That's why you love the
Yeah.
X-Men. Should be a serial. It should be like following those kids
Yeah.
all the time. We don't need movies.
Who
of
wins in
X-Men.
a fight between the X-Men and the
Fantastic Four-
Avengers?
Or well, that's what I'm saying. Like they're always like equally super powered if you really think about it. I mean, the
X-Men
X-Men has,
versus,
like, Phoenix,
Fantastic
all kinds of
Four.
crazy shit. I mean, we can't even. dive
No
into that.
Phoenix, non-Phoenix,
Okay,
out of it.
But Galactus, I'm gonna tell you, Galactus rocked. I was actually thinking about my brother. I was thinking about I was like, I hope he's seen this movie. This movie's fucking amazing. Galactus is treated appropriately. The Galactus machine, everything he was in, the way they got away from the Silver Surfer was like great. It was like it was clever. It was clever, and I was like, good. And it was clever enough. You didn't think it, if you really back analyze all this stuff about like time dilation and whatever. But there's a moment where they're like going around, the cosmos and like the warp or whatever, and then like the Silver Surfers were like really following him. It's like, get to that there's a black hole over there, get to that dying black hole star. And it was like, okay, well, if we get close, it was like, what are we doing? It was like, we're trying to lure the Silver Surfer in. So like, if we get close enough, she's going to catch us. But if we can trick her, we can like lure her in. And the time dilation of her being closer to like the black hole will give us a month to like be ahead of her in
I
time.
swear to God, between that and
And-
Interstellar, I don't get it.
Okay, but
I understand.
but you don't need to be exact. Nobody's asking these writers to be like, okay, equate the actual like weight of a planet and on a hypothetical. It's like the fact that they said it. It's like the Back to the Future. The math really doesn't work in Back to the Future, but they thought about it enough to where you go, yes.
At least they gave us the thought.
And the story was
Yeah.
incredibly enough. It's like you're not gonna how much of an asshole do you have to be to really go? No, wait a minute. There is. If you look at it and you go, well, that's dumb because whatever. Like, just be smart about it, right?
Right.
At least Back to the Future hit the bar. This was smart about it. It was at least
Okay.
clever enough in the moment that it was
Okay.
like you were like. You weren't going to nitpick like, okay, well then their times dilated too. He was like, in relative to her, in meaning, he was like, we'll get there. She'll be a month behind us. It was like,
Awesome.
and it was fucking awesome because they used Seal Storm to make the ship invisible. The Silver Surfer got sidetracked, went too far into the sun, and then they blasted off. And by the time they were like blasting off, she's like, and like time was distorting.
Okay.
But that was a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That fraction of a second of her being like sucked into the black hole.
I've seen Interstellar.
It was awesome. And then also because it had a mom theme, it was a strong family theme. And you know what? I love the strong family theme. I fucking love it. More of the strong family theme. More of the strong nuclear family. I'm tired of this like tearing down and
Yeah.
like whatever and
Yeah.
just bad like Ironheart garbage. I want this and like this whole family cared for Franklin Richards. They were like, hey,
All of Hollywood.
Uncle Johnny, are you gonna like?
All of Hollywood is afraid of an alpha male.
They
We've
do-
seen this in movie after movie after movie.
I think this was the or not the because Eyes Wide Shut was trying to tell the story, but like I think this was kind of like this was.
Did
odd.
you say Eyes Wide Shut? Tom
Yeah.
Cruise? And,
Do you remember
Okay.
that?
I've never seen the whole movie.
Okay, we never talked about that movie. Okay, we'll get off.
I'm
the
gonna go
topic.
watch it today.
This was kind of like the shove it in the face of like you're not going to take our kid. Like it was very that. But that's a way dark conspiracy. I'm not even going to get into that. But like
Okay.
this was, but by Reed Richards sticking up and going, you know what, Tyrant God, you ask me for my child. But first he comes to Earth. They come to Earth because he doesn't know about the child, right? And it's
Right.
only when they come to Galactus and like, have you come to bargain for like basically the he says it better. There's better lines, and they're like, we've come to talk, and he's like scanning them, and then scans like Sue's belly, who's pregnant. Which, when you think about it, it's like, of course, if the Fantastic Four have a kid, that kid's gonna get bioscanned by Galactus, almost touched invisibly like through the force field by the Silver Surfer, almost grabs the kid. All kinds of stuff happens to Franklin Richards before he's even out of the womb. And you're like, of course this kid's got cosmic energy.
Yeah.
This is crazy. He was
Yeah.
touched by Silver Surfer before it was born, and it was cosmically scanned. When you think about it time-wise, kind of like The Flash, they did a good job of like writing this.
Yeah.
When you think about it time-wise, retrospectively, when I'm talking about it, like Galactus scans her in the womb and sees the baby. So do you think that cosmic power is scanning Franklin Richards and giving him cosmic power? And then also in the movie, the Silver Surfer almost like is like phasing through stuff and like phases almost grabs the baby out of the womb.
during a warp speed, and they're all in zero gravity. The moment you'll be in a moment. This is the moment I wished I saw this in my fucking I was like, oh this. There was several moments I was like, I should have bought this in IMAX or Dolby. And the moment when Sue Storm was giving birth on the table in the middle of there's a work table in the middle of the Excelsior ship. You know the Stanley's the Excelsior, right? You know the ship is called the Excelsior.
Yes.
They're flying through a slipstream, warp speed. Silver Surfer's behind them. They're trying to shoot the Silver Surfer. 0 G's. She's giving birth to Franklin Richards right around a black hole. I mean, it's like crazy. Of course, that baby's a baby with cosmic.
Yeah, of course.
The whole movie, I was like, this is how you do Fantastic Four. It's like completely. And then the mom saves. All the family gathers around. The hard uncle, the uncles, the dad. Everybody gives everything to save the baby and save the world because they're heroes. They don't give up on the world. They don't give up on their own child. They spit in the face of the god. That's what really you need to understand about this. Everybody's gonna get caught up. It's like, well, wouldn't you? It was like you need to understand why this is such good writing because. I'm giving credit where credit's due. Right. I'm amazed that Marvel actually let writers and got this good of writing.
Right.
Because literally what they did was they put Reed Richards in an impossible pass. They said, wouldn't you are you going to be the genius guy that weighs the math and gives up the one child for 6 billion people on a planet? Or are you going to give up 6 billion planet and then save your own kid and jet set and go away and be a coward? You could have. But instead, this man kept crunching the numbers, and as a family, they gathered around, spit in the face of a tyrant god that said, fuck you to your option. I'm not giving you the world, and I'm not giving you this kid, and we'll fight to our last death as heroes to stop it. Because what else was it? You got to stand up to it. And that was real, but they don't. Again, I say tyrant god. In their eyes, as tyrant god, we don't. You and I know as Galactus, he's a constant in the universe that has to exist. And he even in this movie kind of alludes to the fact that Franklin Richards might be his successor or the source of his insatiable power to quench. Like he might eat Franklin Richards, or I think it more alludes to the fact that he might become Franklin Richards is going to become Galactus. Like Earth X story. That's why I have that here. I don't know. I've never heard anybody yet talk about the Earth X story. Like kind of Franklin Richards re-arrives as what the world needs most to fight the Celestials. Galactus. He makes himself Galactus. Franklin Richards can do anything. You know, he's kind of the MacGuffin kid, whatever. Yes, you are right. And it's beautiful, no matter how Strauss and everything. And then the Silver Surfer Requiem was another book, and I'm sure we can talk about just Silver Surfer another day, but this movie was fucking incredible. And even though I spoiled it all for you, but you had to be the martyr for the people out there to get the spoiler alerts. I guarantee you when you watch this movie, you go, this was still good without Mickey ruin it for me. Because this was so visually, there were moments in the movie where yes, this is fucking amazing. You're still going to cry. You'll still cry. You'll still be engaged. You will forget I said any of this shit. You'll be so engaged. I guarantee you.
You got me hyped. I mean, I almost got low-key...
credit where credit's due. It's great writing. More of this, please.
I'm trying to tell you, I've known this man for, about 10 years now? I've never heard him praise anything. All right, so look. That, I believe, are we putting a button in this? I think you've killed it. Yeah.
I think we are done.
That is Mickey's solo review. I didn't see it, so I couldn't speak much on it, of Fantastic Four. Let us know how you feel about it. Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Comment below.
Yeah, comment below. Let us know.
The gunshots. Are you going to follow, subscribe, share? You put them in the corners, right?
It's
comment below.
It's coming. It was
I've
in
made
the earlier
these
part
images
of the show,
for him.
We're going to use them. Believe that.
There. And also we have so we talked about the coasters and everything, and then be on the lookout. So please comment below. Tell us what you thought about the Fantastic Four movie and what our thoughts about it. You thought you didn't like it. Tell me why you didn't like it. If you liked it and you agree with me, tell me why you liked it. Tell Richard why he should go see it. I think he should go see it. I'm actually before we mess out.
Right.
I know AMC was running the Galactus popcorn bucket head. Yeah,
They had a Galactus. Did you get it?
Hold on.
That's a hell of a collectible.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So it is a, and I think somebody released the 3D file prints, and you could read it, but it was all painted up and eyes lit up and everything. And before I saw the movie, I was like,
$80.
It was $80. But
Won't be buying it.
No. But I'm gonna tell you, after I got out of the movie, I was kind of like, Man, that Galactus was so boss. I kind of want that Galactus head to be like my night lamp. It'd be like, boom, and just like scan me or something. If I could just like have that up in my, it's all sold out. Even the San Diego Comic Con, I heard they're sold out. The AMC Theater had like a booth, stand. Yeah, that was just. It wasn't a movie theater. It was just selling the product for AMC. It was their new marketing thing of selling like merchandise. All the buckets were sold out, especially Galactus head. The Galactus was so boss. The guy who voiced him is so cool. I gotta get Galactus is awesome.
Okay.
So cool.
I mean, well, now we know.
lives.
Galactus lives. Comic Cocktail. We'll see you guys next time. Why did I say it with my mouth full? Let me do that again.
Wait, chew your butter snaps.
My butter snap.
Hey, Cat, come out here.
No, he's got to do his thing.
No,
All right,
well,
so
you
look.
got to come out here with us.
Oh.
Silver Surface.
Yeah. Silver Surface.
Just stand out here.
1 minute.
She's coming.
No, you
She
don't have
gotta
to
put
have
on
a
her
mask.
mask.
I have the mask on.
She's a cosplay. All right, so look, that's
Cosplay
this
cat.
week's Comic Cocktail. Let us know what you think. We'll see you next time. And then we just talk for a minute while the credits are rolling and the music.
And you eat your butter snaps.
Butters it out.
Thank God for these butter snaps. All right, I'm not gonna stop down because you wanna do how we made the drinks.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll do how to make the drink.